It's Brian Crow. We're in the South Wales Gliding Club. I'm an instructor here and thoroughly enjoy myself with gliding. The club is round about 80 members, which is a good sort of size. We've got a wide range of members, from youngsters right through to retired. We've had quite an influx of youngsters recently. We do encourage them with a very warm welcome, and they learn very quickly.
Two main ways of launching a glider, and they're both used on this site in roughly equal proportions. The first is perhaps the easiest to describe, what we call an aerotow, which is literally what it says it is. You're towed into the air by another aircraft. We use an aircraft called a Pawnee single-engined aircraft, originally designed for crop spraying. And the routine is relatively straightforward. The tow rope is attached to the back of the tug. The tug taxis along the field, gaining speed, tows the glider behind it. The glider will take off before the tug does because it's lighter. It'll fly just a foot or so off the ground behind the tug, and eventually the tug will lift off, and then it'll just climb gently and gracefully into the sky, and you can be towed anything from 2,000 feet, 5,000 feet, depends what you arrange for, what you agree to pay for. When you've got to the height you want to, the glider pilot will pull the release knob, release the tow rope, the glider will peel off to the right and descend back down to the club. The pilot will pull up and swing to the left, and the glider will then go on his way, but hopefully an enjoyable session of soaring.
Here at the South Wales Gliding Club we have two main ways of launching gliders. There's a winch launch and an aerotow. The winch launch typically is the most spectacular. One end of the field is a big gas-powered winch. Draw cables out from that, the length of the field, attach the winch cable to the glider, and it goes up very much like a kite. Very spectacular, quick acceleration, and you get something like 1,000 feet at the far end of the field.
Winch launching, people probably won't be familiar with that unless they've actually seen it taking place. What we have is a big V8 winch with a cable drum on it, and that would be one end of the airfield, the other end of the airfield at the launching point. the glider will be attached to the rope. At the appropriate signal, the winch driver will open up the throttle, the cable will be wound in, and the glider will accelerate quite rapidly. The minute the glider is clear of the ground and flying at a safe speed, the glider will ease the stick back and it'll go into quite a steep climb, about a 40-degree climb. So you're going anything between 50 or 60 miles an hour. Climbing up at 40 degrees, that's quite exhilarating. Depending on the length of the cable, on this site, in normal wind conditions, you'd gain a height of about 1,000 feet from the winch launch. And again, when you reach the top of the winch, you'll feel the winch slowing down. Simply a case of pulling the release knob, letting the cable go, and setting off for your flight.
I first started flying with the Air Cadets. I joined them around about 14. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was one of the things that I'd always wanted to do. Continued with them, got my gliding wings at 16, and been interested in flying, and especially gliding ever since. It's very natural to continue from being a solo pilot, gaining experience, and then starting to instruct. It involves lots and lots of preparation, lots and lots of flying, paperwork, actual tests, but your flying definitely improves. And I find it a great pleasure to help bring other students on, teach them flying and share the fun and delights of gliding.
Yeah, the very first flight I had from this airfield when I first joined the club was one of the instructors called Brian Crow, and he was very good. We were sitting on the launch point, and I wondered why he was not launching immediately. He said, no, wait a minute, we waited a few minutes. He said, okay, we'll launch now. What I hadn't realised, because what Brian was looking at the sky and looking at some little gathering wisps of cloud and realising there was the signs of a very good thermal there, but he wasn't going to launch until the thermal had drifted downwind so that it was reachable from the top of the winch.
And then we were flying alongside a long white cloud, smooth cloud, and very, very steady, still air, except the air was going up and up, gently climbing, seeing further and further into the distance, and just climbing up above the white cloud. It's absolutely magic.
That was a brilliant introduction to flying from our sky. I had a thoroughly enjoyable flight. I'm grateful for Brian for that. Showing me how to be cunning about when you launch.
Gliding, it's, as you say, it's almost a way of life. A lot of good friendships here in the club. People are very keen to help and encourage you. Been interested in flying, gliding all my life, and it's really a way of fulfilling that, enjoying myself and being out in the country, having a wonderful time.
Gliding, just staying airborne, is a challenge. And even if I'm not qualified to fly across country yet, but getting a good sustained flight, even just flying locally, it's like riding a bike, the lovely sense of something for nothing. You're just using entirely natural energy and forces to actually keep yourself both airborne and to get to the height you want to and get to the places you want to. So yeah, it's the challenge. And the companionship, they're a good bunch of people. I like being here. They're a friendly lot. So as well as the technical challenge, there's a good social aspect to it as well. And the view's nice, it's wonderful.